I felt like an absolute geezer.
Until you came to pay for
Well,
it.
no, I was just walking around being like, yeah, in John Lewis and all. And I was like, I'll have that. But yeah, this is wicked. X amount of money? Yeah, no problem. And then it comes up to the counter. I'm like, scrubbing, have I got like £5 left on this one and £20 left on this one?
You're listening to the I Do Not Have a Clue podcast, hosted by Tom and Em.
We're a married couple that work in the wedding industry, and we're here to chat all things wedding. We were like, actually, do you know what? A saucepan would be way more useful. Hello!
Hey, and welcome back to the I Do Not Have a Clue podcast.
This week, we may have a special guest, and I say may have a special guest. Vinny, our little staffy, is in the room. He's currently down here where you can't see him. The intention he was here, but he's not.
He decided he was too big for the camera.
He's too big for the camera. He's too big time. But we hopefully will get him on the sofa at some point. But a disclaimer, if you hear any snorting, pig noises, grunting, sniffling, anything like that, he's just a bit of a pig. But he's a dog.
He's just noisy.
But he's a noisy dog. So he might come and join us at some point. Anyway, we thought, as we kind of get into this first series of the I Do Not Have a Clue podcast, that we would carry on from last week with our 5 tips for if you've just got engaged.
Congratulations
if you have. And go over like a rough, and we mean really rough, wedding timeline guide sort of thing. And I reckon it's a bit more of a checklist than a do this 76 days before your wedding and don't do this more than 100 days of it, all of that kind of thing.
It's very rough.
It is
a rough guide.
And it's a combination of what we did when we got married and also our experience since then of the mistakes and the good decisions we've made, see people make in the planning process.
Yeah.
So it's going to be, we're not going to spend long on each thing. It's more just to do this and some little tips then. And then this is basically going to formulate the next however many podcasts, breaking down lots of different things that in the wedding industry.
Yeah.
So I think it's important to remember as well that we're not expecting you to remember all of this. We're not expecting you to take notes. I mean, you can if you want to, but we're not expecting you to take notes. We're more just hoping that it will give you a level of, this is where, not I should be at, but these are the things I should be doing or could be doing at this point in the wedding process, the wedding planning process. And more importantly, that actually, if you've got something, a guide to go by, you can try and enjoy it more. Because that's our big thing is, like we said in the last podcast, we see so many people not enjoy their wedding planning process. And I think that's the most important thing to us.
Yeah, definitely.
So let's get straight in. You've just got engaged. I think the first thing is, are you having an engagement party? Yes or no? Yes or no, engagement party. We didn't have an engagement party?
We didn't have an engagement party.
No, but we had a night out with some friends.
We did.
A couple, actually, but they weren't like official engagement parties.
We didn't. No, we definitely didn't have like an official.
No. But then you see some people that just go absolutely crazy and have a massive engagement party.
Which I absolutely love.
Which is great as well. But engagement drinks, are you going to? And I think it's really good because it gets
everyone together.
But at the same time, I think, are they then expecting an invite to the wedding?
That's what I was about to say. Your con is actually everyone at the engagement party, will they think I automatically get invited to the wedding?
Yeah. Is it a wedding invite? No, it's like, because it technically could just be drinks in the pub.
Yeah.
So, but are you having an engagement party? Yes or no? I think that's the first thing to tick off. And then, most importantly, you've got to do the I Do Not Have a Clue podcast 5 things after you've just got engaged. You've got to do those. I said when this isn't going to be a got to, but I think you should do those things.
Yeah.
So if you don't know what they are, go back and listen to last week's episode, the first official episode, episode 1 of the I Do Not Have a Clue podcast.
Yeah.
To find out what you should be doing. After that, I think, and this is something we're going to do a bit of talking about.
Yeah, definitely.
As we move forward through the planning and the podcast episodes. But what we're going to call the big 4.
Yes.
Okay. So you need to start not booking, but having a think about the big four, which
Yeah.
are big four,
Venue.
venue,
Entertainment.
entertainment,
Media.
media,
And catering.
and catering. Think about
Why
it
were
this
you
way.
looking at me like that?
Well, because you were looking at me like I didn't know whether you were going to get them or not, and I was like, please don't say like
Of course. Who
a
could
crazy
forget
golf
the
thing
big
is, or the
four?
donkey. The donkey. I mean, big five with the donkey. But anyway, are
Woof.
you woofing at the dog?
Yeah.
Well, he could do to sit down like us. But anyway, the big four. Think about it. You can't get married without a venue.
Yeah.
Even if you get married in your back garden, you've still made a decision about
Yeah.
venue. You need to have a think about catering. You need to feed people. There's probably going to be some sort of entertainment, and you want someone to capture it all.
Yes.
That's why they're the big four for me.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, like I said, as we move forward, we're going to start chatting the big four as individual podcasts, I think.
Absolutely.
To spend a bit more time on them.
A deeper dive.
A deeper dive into each one. And then numbers.
Yeah, I think this is one of the first things that you've really got to think about because it actually influences.
Lots of things.
I was about to say everything.
Pretty much everything.
Pretty much everything.
Getting, not like we're having exactly 109 people to our wedding,
No, rough
but
numbers.
you need to know, are you looking for a venue that can cap 50 or are you looking for a venue that can cap 500?
Yeah.
So I think that's the thing you need to look at.
Yeah, definitely.
With regards to numbers, but also just kind of like it will influence what kind of catering you have.
Mm.
It will influence the sort of entertainment that you might have. Because
Exactly.
realistically, whilst you definitely could, the likelihood is you're not going to have a 50-person wedding and book a 12-piece show band.
Yeah, that would be a lot.
You could. It'd be a lot. It would be quite out of balance, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think numbers are super important to start looking at.
Definitely.
And then after you've got your numbers down and you've had a think about your big four, I think that's when you should be booking your big four.
Yeah, because actually the big four, you're at more of a risk of them being, I don't want to say sold out, but
Being booked.
lack of availability.
Yeah, if you want, we got married on the 31st of July. It was a popular wedding day. It was the last Saturday in July.
Yeah.
And we not had to, but we really wanted that date because it was a date that we got together 6 years
Yeah.
previous. So if you've got a certain date in mind or a certain supplier in mind, you must, and this isn't like, I know I said I'm not going to say you must do this, you must get in contact with them pretty promptly.
Definitely.
If your wedding is a Wednesday in November, you're probably slightly safer.
Yeah, I also think, actually, when you're looking at this big four, you need to, I'm going to say it, make sure your visions align.
Good. Tick box.
Yeah, make sure that actually, is it the venue's the most important? You're not worried about a date. So then, actually, as soon as you book your venue, you can think of everything else.
Yeah.
If you've got a show band that you absolutely want and you're not bothered about a venue, you're happy with any venue, then you book your entertainment.
So I've got that at the moment with the Rockets
that's
Collective.
what made me think about it.
We've got a couple at the moment that spoke to us before they even booked their venue. They found us on social media and were like, we have to have you. What do you need and what is going to work for you in a venue? Like, how do we get the most out of the entertainment with the venue?
And what were your free dates? Because it's a
free
peak
dates
time.
Exactly. So, and we've managed to work that out. And literally today, they've messaged me. I haven't even told you this. They've messaged me to say that they've booked the venue and they're ready to book us, which is wicked. So super stoked for that
Yay.
wedding. But yeah, no, I totally agree. The big four, everyone gets booked up quickly.
Yeah.
But the big four will go quick if they're, and especially
Definitely.
if they're like popular suppliers.
Yeah. Which, hopefully, you will book popular suppliers.
Yeah, you want to book popular suppliers. It's totally up to you though.
Because
If you're on a budget, popular suppliers are probably going to be a little bit more expensive.
You can still have popular suppliers on your budget, though.
You can totally. I totally agree. But it's I think more priority.
Yeah.
Like you said, going back to what you said, if it's a priority, get it booked.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely. So
we'll leave that for this week,
Yeah,
and then we'll
definitely.
deep dive in another week.
definitely. And then I think just in after that, are you going to have somebody else involved in the planning process of your wedding day? Are you going to have a wedding planner? Are you going to have a wedding host? Two very different roles.
I'm also going to add another one in there.
Go on.
A coordinator.
A coordinator. Different. So go on.
Sorry, I was going to say, I have heard, obviously, we've been doing this for years, but I've heard of a wedding coordinator, but only quite recently have I worked directly with a wedding coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
And I was working out the differences between all three, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah. So, again, we're going to get into these in separate episodes, but you've got your planner that's going to plan everything for you and might be there on the day, might not be there on the day. Depends what sort of planner you book.
Exactly.
You've got a coordinator that's probably going to get involved 6 weeks beforehand, and they call it on-the-day coordination. And then they're there on the day, and they're kind of like running the show behind the scenes. But you can have a hybrid planner coordinator that does the whole planning process and on the day.
Yeah.
And then you've got a wedding host, which is completely different, but fits into that category.
Definitely.
Because they don't plan the wedding, but they're there in your corner to answer questions and assist with timings and, oh, have you thought about this? Oh, just remember X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, yeah. So it helps you with your planning. So you're not having to use more of your budget on a wedding planner or coordinator, but you've still got someone, like I said, in your corner. And then they run the day, but from the front rather than from behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So are you going to have a coordinator? Are you going to have a host? Are you going to have a planner? Because obviously the sooner you book them, the more you get out of them.
100%. Do not leave it last minute.
And a lot of the time, certain planners will take, rather than a set fee, they'll take a percentage of the budget.
What you've spent, yeah.
So you need to equate that into your budget as well. So then, after you've done your venue, your catering, your entertainment, your media, and then the planner host situation, did we take out wedding insurance? We did. I knew that. But I think it's a good idea to take out wedding insurance at the time as well for us with COVID. It was massive.
Hence why we took out wedding insurance.
Yeah, exactly.
We
took it. It was our wedding. We took out, like we said last time, sometimes people do different jobs, but we know what's going on.
You didn't even know that we had wedding insurance. Don't be ridiculous.
I'd have known about it if we need to use it. I'd been like, right, where's the wedding insurance?
Yeah, literally.
But fortunately, we didn't. But it's useful to cover all sorts, and there's lots of different wedding insurers out there, but you've got to look at what's right for you, and whether different forms of cancellation from your side or a supplier's side or something like that. It does happen. Not as much as kind of like you'd probably expect, but it does happen. So I think wedding insurance is something to do early on, because the closer to your wedding date you get, the more expensive it gets, because they're like, oh, well, why are you booking it?
Yeah, exactly.
So, or why are you getting it?
We did it pretty early on, obviously, because we were in COVID.
Yeah.
But I think it's important, because you never know. Like, you might book a donkey. I'll go on with a donkey.
Yeah, you might book a donkey. We're gonna get done for like talking too much about donkeys on this podcast. But you might book a donkey. And
unfortunately, the donkey's got an ankle injury, so can't make it.
And there's no substitute donkeys.
Yeah, so
it's the most ridiculous example, but you get what we mean.
Wedding insurance.
You get what we mean.
Perfect.
Wedding insurance, definitely. And then save the dates.
Yes. I will say for save the dates, you don't have to send them to everyone.
No. In fact, I reckon don't do that.
Some people do, and it's fine. They definitely know.
But make sure you want them at your wedding.
Yeah.
Really make sure you want those people at your wedding.
We've heard far too many horror stories about these.
And people are really excited. I totally get that. And that's great. And I'm really excited that you're excited about it. But don't get really excited. Send one to every Tom, Dick, Harry, Julie, and Gwen that you know.
Oh, Gwen.
Yeah. Gwen's a nice name. Anyway, don't send one to everyone that you know and then think, oh, yeah, I've got to invite them because they've saved the date for the last 18 months. It's family, it's close friends, it's bridal party.
It's the people that you know and
people that are shoo-ins for your wedding.
Be there.
That you've always thought they'll be at my wedding.
Yeah.
So, and again, you need to have that conversation with your other half.
Yeah.
And things like that. And I think maybe not to get into now, but something we'll discuss is plus ones.
We will discuss that later, but not right now.
But with the save the dates, I think we need to readdress the plus ones and where they come into play and things like that.
Interesting.
So, yeah, and then after that, something fun, maybe.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
All of it's fun anyway.
it is all fun, but an engagement shoot.
I really like an engagement shoot.
I think they're great. I mean, we did ours completely backwards through no fault of our own because of COVID. But we'll come to that. But normally you do your engagement shoot just after you've got engaged.
Yeah.
And normally with the photographer
Yeah, that's
that you're going to book. So this is where actually you might do this. You've just booked your media. So is it included in their package? Is it an extra? We had ours included with
did have ours
Shannon
included.
Burrell photography.
Yeah.
She was great. She was really,
was
really
so
lovely photographer
good.
and brilliant photographer. But I think what she did was include it in her top package, which we went for.
Yeah.
And we were supposed to have it, and then it got COVID, postponed. So we actually ended up having our engagement shoot 2 weeks before our wedding.
I think it was closer than that.
Was it the
I
week
think it was
before?
the week of the wedding. Because your mum was there.
Yeah, quite possibly.
I think it was
Anyway,
the week for the
it
wedding.
wasn't when you'd normally have an engagement shoot.
No.
However, I'm gonna throw this out there. I think it was a really good time to do it.
Yeah, because it broke the ice. I knew exactly who was going to be there. I knew what she was going to be like.
And we did it at the
shots-
venue. On the golf, we did it
Yeah,
in two
we
different because we got married at Hotel Golf Club.
Yeah,
So we did it on the golf course.
yeah.
So it gave the photographer, she hadn't worked at that venue before, so it gave her a really good chance to work
Scout
out where
it
the
out.
shots were going to
Yeah.
be. We did it at a similar-ish time.
Yeah.
So when we would be outside having photos, and then we went across to a place called Causey Arch and had some lovely, more dramatic shots, if you like. But blimey, massive hill.
I was in, like, heels.
You were in heels?
Sandals.
I was in like tight jeans and some boots, and
Yeah,
it was quite warm that evening as well.
yeah.
And then we're like, do you know what? Some pictures up the top of there would be great. And we're like, yeah. Halfway up, I'm like, sweat pouring down me.
My shoe was falling off.
I was like, Shannon, mate, you're gonna have to give us 5 minutes before we have any pictures. She was like, that's fine, just go sit in that grass. And
Yeah,
she
and
got
then we sat in some grass.
she got some really nice pictures of us.
Yeah, it was really nice.
But the biggest thing for me was it got us used to her as a photographer and a person,
Yeah.
and her used to us, because we're not
Yeah.
used to having our photo taken. The only way I get my photo taken is when I'm like pulling a really weird face when I'm on stage or hosting or something like that, an action shot rather than a posed shot.
Yeah, we don't really do pose shots,
No,
do we?
and it was really nice. So she got to learn, I think she then learned how to deal with us as people on the day.
Yeah.
So I think that was really nice. But hey, have 2 engagement shoots if you want an engagement shoot, a pre-wedding shoot, and a wedding shoot.
Yeah.
But then we're talking more money. So, but yeah, do an engagement shoot at some point if you can, because I think they're really, really nice. And it gets us two more comfortable to being in front of a
Yeah,
camera.
definitely.
What's next?
Colour scheme.
Colour scheme. Okay, so I'm going to chuck a couple more in there.
Decorations.
That's one. Decor, decoration. And I'm going to say florist.
Yeah.
In there as well. So you've got your colour scheme, your decor / design / decorations, and your florist. And I think, not like straight away,
Yeah.
but I think they should come as a bit of a joined up thought, a conjoined thought, if you like.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? Because they're all going to be working together,
definitely.
and they're all going to have to agree on the colour scheme that obviously it's our colour scheme or your colour scheme as a couple, but they're going to then have to work, okay, so you're doing a gold centerpiece, so what's going to be nice on the table with that and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, the colour scheme, decor / design, and a florist. And I think it's really important. Well, I know it's really important to get a good florist.
It's so important to get a florist that's,
But by a good florist, what do we mean?
I was going to say, experienced
Yeah,
in weddings, because
In
you have
weddings.
some florists that,
make great
Just-
arrangements.
yes, but not wedding
Yeah.
florists.
Yeah.
So wedding florists, obviously, a good wedding florist advises you what flowers are in season
Yeah.
to make sure that they're lasting all day. If you want a scent to them or not.
Mm-hmm. Allergies, it's a massive thing
Yeah.
with wedding flowers. We did a wedding the other week, or did I say the
Yeah.
other month in Belfast, and they had these fantastic flower.
So
It
pretty.
was beautiful flower arrangements on the stage.
Yeah.
But our drummer, poor drummer, he was sitting there, Adam, just like sneezing up, and so was the percussionist as well.
It's a good job they had a pharmacist on board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that could happen to guests if they've
Yeah.
got lots of flowers. So just especially if it's like high pollen count, whatever. Like
Yeah.
something to think about, I think.
And
but
then also with your florist, they'll quite often ask what you're doing for like a centerpiece. Because if you're not really flower orientated or you're not really sure what look to go for, they quite often get. I'm gonna sneeze.
It's the flowers.
It's the flowers.
Bless you.
Thank you. And they quite often ask if you're going to have your bouquets, your centerpiece. And
Yeah, which
things
we
like that.
did.
We did.
You put your bouquet on the top table, didn't you?
And my bridesmaids dotted theirs about.
Yeah. And also, after, I remember this actually, we had, and we'll get onto cake in a bit, but we had our
Yes, that's what I was
florist
going for as well.
put some flowers on the cake. So we actually had quite a plain cake.
We did.
And then it was decorated to look
Yeah.
good in the pictures and the cake cut and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then crack on with your colour scheme, your decor and your design, your florist, and please lean on those suppliers. You might really like one colour, but you don't know what goes with it.
Oh, also our florist, this is a sneak peek. She did like 2 podiums. We got married in a church, so she did 2
Yeah.
podiums for us. And I say obviously, we were there. You probably weren't there. We had like
Well, I don't know, it's only episode 2.
I'm sure most of them weren't at the wedding.
Some of them would have been.
Some of them will be, but anyway, we had like maroon, pinks, white flowers all together. And she's like, actually, I'm not putting any like burgundy flowers in the 2 pedestals because when you look for it afar or your photographer takes a shot like from a distance, they look like 2 holes. Or how many holes in your pedestals? So it looks like a gap.
Oh, because they're so dark.
Yes, they're so dark.
Interesting.
So she was, tip.
Yeah.
So she made them so that they were really pretty, like far away, and also really close.
But they complemented the colour scheme.
Definitely. So again, good florist will be able to work that out.
But so will stylists and decor and venue designers and things like that. They'll all really, really help because it's not. So, unless you're an interior designer, it's not really something that people know too much about.
No, so that's your first tip of the day.
First tip of the day. And then I reckon you should take this next one as well.
What is the next one? Hair and makeup artist.
Because clearly, don't need a hair. Well, I need hair, that's the point. I don't need someone to do my hair before I get married. Makeup could do.
I know a few grooms that have the makeup done for the wedding.
It looks great in pictures.
It looks fantastic.
My issue was, regardless of how cold it was going to be, I'd have been really, really warm. Quite sweaty.
So dramatic. But yes,
Anyway.
hair and makeup artists, making sure you're looking through their social media, the website, their portfolio. Make sure you have a trial.
They got to offer a trial.
And they offer a trial within a package.
Mm-hmm.
Your trial's so important. Go in there with, each makeup artist and hairstylist works differently. You also have got to think about, while I'm thinking on this trend, is do you want one person to do both?
Hair and makeup, yeah.
Or would you like 2 separate? Depending, again, you might want to think about that of how many bridesmaids you're having.
So what did we have?
Bridal party.
Or
I
you
had 2
have?
separate. So I had a hairdresser and I had a makeup artist.
And that makeup artist had a second? Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah?
She did, yeah.
So
Are we going to shout her out?
yeah, Bethan.
Yeah.
Bethan
Prentice,
Prentice.
makeup artist.
I mean,
She
Em
was
looks great. She looks great all the time.
fantastic.
But she looked really great on our wedding day.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah, she did. I'm talking about you.
Yes, she did.
Yeah, she did.
Queen.
Talking about yourself in the third person. Brilliant. But no, Bethan did, and she had a second with her, and then you had your hairdresser.
I did,
to do your hair
I
as
completely
well.
forgot we had a second.
Yeah. But
Sorry.
there was you, your mum,
I was
my
thinking
mum,
about a lot, yeah.
and
5 bridesmaids.
5 bridesmaids.
Yeah.
So that's 8 people in total.
Yeah.
And
then
we were
you've
getting
got-
married at 11:30 in the
30.
morning.
So yeah, you got to think about if you're going to have the same people separate, what bridal party you're having what, because not everyone did get the hair done.
And you've got to think money, who's paying for what.
Yeah.
But we'll do a separate episode on that.
Yeah.
But start looking at your hair and makeup artist, I think.
Start looking hair and makeup artist, see if they offer a trial. Try out different looks or variations of a look at the trial.
Yeah.
Make sure you've got a day that you can wear it, hair and makeup. maybe not together, but definitely all day to see how it lasts. Make notes throughout the day and like, oh, maybe this part of your hair fell out, or it was really uncomfortable when this happened, and things like that. Make little notes. So,
But that would be at the actual trial.
yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
yeah. But so you'd be booking your hair and makeup artist now.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be doing your trial just yet, would you?
No, but that's what I'm saying. It's important to have
When
the
you
trial.
get to the trial.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. And stationery should probably come at this point as well. Just a quick, what is stationery at a wedding? We're talking invitations,
Yeah.
signage, any kind of like wedding this way or welcome to the wedding of Tom and Em.
Yeah.
Or kind of like pick a seat, not a side, any of that kind of stuff if you want that in a ceremony. Menus, if you're going to have menus, little
Running
name
order.
places, running orders, all of that kind of the nice stuff.
The really cool.
Cool.
The really cool thing I've seen recently is QR codes.
Yeah, as part of the stationery.
Yeah. As part of the stationery, it all matches. It's on the table. You scan your QR code. You upload a picture to this app.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Really, really
It's
good.
a good idea.
Really
For the
good.
first part of the day, and then people forget to do it later on. But
Or you forget to tell people and you pay for the app.
you also.
I know. That's what I thought
If
as
you
well.
heard Vin's having a right good snore at that. Anyway, yeah. So stationery. Make sure that it fits in. Are you gonna have a professional do it? Are you DIYing it? We DIY'd it.
We did DIY it.
Canva. Sorry, stationers, I'm doing it out of business here, but Canva is great
If you're on a budget.
if you're on a budget.
However,
I think it
if
would've
I
been
did
great.
it back now, I probably would get someone else to do it.
yeah, I agree.
Because it's so nice to be like, I'm going to make all these things. Once you're like 20 through, you're like, oh my gosh, I've still got 80 to 100 left
And we're
to
lucky
do.
that your dad had quite a printer.
Oh, yeah.
You've got to have a good printer because otherwise it just looks naff.
It was a lot.
So,
I love doing it, and I probably would do it again, but actually,
like the design bit, but the
if
actual
I had
following
the
through.
opportunity to send some designs to someone else to do, and it come out perfect, because for us, we are creative.
Mm-hmm.
However, art creative,
Yeah,
probably not our best.
not
so
our strongest point.
cutting and sticking, and is this
Folding.
straight? Is this not?
Oh.
Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
lot. I'm
So,
going to move on.
Are you going to get a DIY professional to do it? Make sure it fits in with your decor and your colour scheme, and then work out what you want them to do. Okay, so work out what you want them to do.
Put it on silent.
So it's only work.
Yeah, we're working. Silent. Dear me. I am so sorry for the lack of thought.
Anyway, this has turned to carnage. It's only episode 2. Blimey. Right, start looking at your outfits.
Yes.
You probably already have had an idea. Like you said last week, you had a bit of an idea
Yeah.
about your wedding dress once we got engaged and things like that, and I knew the sort of suit I wanted to wear, but you've got to start physically going shopping.
Yeah, definitely.
Not to buy, but to start getting an idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And by just outfits, we don't mean just bridesmaid's dress and suits for the groom. We mean everyone. Groomsmen, bridesmaids, best men, best women,
If you're
maid
having
of honour,
flower girls,
man of honour.
page boys,
Anything.
anything.
Anyone that you want to fit in with how it looks.
Yeah.
You need to start thinking about those.
Definitely. Doggy bow tie.
A doggy bow tie, yeah, because at M's sister's wedding, it lasted all of 10 minutes.
He was really little. He was only 6 months old.
It was
bless
diddy
it.
at that point. But anyway, and then I think along with that, because you'll have worked out then not who's important on the day, but who's bridal party, groomsmen, that kind of thing. You then need to book, I think, quite importantly, book the important hotel rooms.
Yes.
So for you two, where you staying the night before, obviously you're probably going to be separate. On the night, do you get a bridal suite or?
Oh, interesting.
Well, you're probably going to. We were separate
It's
the night
not,
before.
We got married a few years ago, hon.
I've never heard of a bride and bridegroom and groom being together the same night.
Really?
Literally never happens.
So on my TikTok,
Yeah, but that's TikTok.
no, there's been so many people that get ready with their partners
Yeah,
to make them feel like more comfortable.
I
and
think so
ready to
many
go.
is probably a bit kind of like it's on TikTok because they're different. They're going to put it on TikTok. I would say
I'm just saying, if you want to get ready with your partner,
if you
then
want
do
to,
it.
then great. And I think it is a really nice idea.
That was what I was
okay,
sharing.
but I don't think it's a regular thing.
We don't know. Watch this space.
I have never had a couple do that.
Have you not?
Never.
Oh, interesting. Maybe it's not
Ever.
a thing then.
Like, ever. But anyway, whether you're going to get married, whether you're going to get ready for your wedding together
Okay.
or separate, you
Yeah.
need to know where that's happening. And if you need hotels for the night before,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. Parents, family members, groomsmen, bridesmaids, etc.
Question.
Go on.
Has many of your couples done first look?
I think it's becoming more of a thing.
Okay, cool.
It's
I'll
it's
just
definitely an
park that.
American thing. The
Yeah.
first look with the traditionally father of the bride,
I've seen that quite a lot.
that's quite a big thing.
Yeah.
But a first look from both people from the couple is becoming more of a thing.
Interesting.
And there's also this thing of, I can't remember what they call it.
First touch.
First touch, where you're like round a corner and you hold their hand or something like that.
And they give each other presents.
And or they read something to each
Yeah.
other. That's all really nice. However, like us, if you're getting married at 11:30 in the morning,
You've got to do
ain't
that
nobody
pretty
got time
quick.
for that. Yeah. And you were still late and you got married like in the house next to the church. Anyway, not I'm bitter about it.
This is a later podcast.
Anyway. Book important hotel rooms the day before, the day of,
Yeah.
day after, whatever. And then you can't get married without someone to officiate your wedding.
Yeah.
Legally. Whether you're getting married in a church, you need a vicar.
Yeah.
Whether you're getting married in another religious building and need the head of that religious place of worship. Whether you're getting a civil ceremony, you need a registrar, an officiant, something like that. If you're not legally allowed to get married the place that you're getting married, then you need to have sorted that beforehand or afterwards,
Yeah.
something like that. Okay, but you need to get your officiant booked in and make sure that you vibe with them.
Yeah.
Especially if you're having like a celebrant-led ceremony, make sure that you vibe with them. What are you laughing at?
We've seen a lot of celebrants.
There's been some I really like celebrants. I think most of them do a really great job.
Yeah.
There are some celebrants that clearly just haven't got to know their couple,
Yeah.
and that's
It's
really
been
important.
quite awkward, that one, hasn't it?
That's really, really important.
Yeah.
So, or very kind of like forced, and you need to get someone that fits with your vibe.
Definitely.
Definitely, as a celebrant / officiant. And then we've already mentioned it. Cake. Start thinking about wedding cake. Are you going to have one? A massive trend at the moment is to not have a wedding cake.
Or have your wedding cake as the dessert.
As dessert. I've got quite a few couples this year that are doing that.
I never really thought about that recently, but obviously being at weddings and doing this as a job, I've seen it more and more, and I was like, that
It's a good
is
idea.
such a good idea.
Saves the pennies as well.
And also, who wants all of this cake left over?
Yeah, because you have dessert and then cake. I mean, I'm all for it.
We didn't even get a piece of our wedding cake.
No. But, hey hum. But if you're going to have a cake, you need to start thinking about it. You're
Yeah.
talking like how many
Style.
layers, styles, flavours.
Definitely.
I've
You're
got a
going to
couple-
try before you buy.
Yeah, definitely. I've
We
got a couple
did-
coming up later this year,
Yeah.
and I'm really, really excited for this. I'm not going to mention their daughter's name, but they've got obviously their daughter's coming to the wedding quite young, and she thinks that she gets to cut the cake.
Oh, how young.
I think quite young, but she thinks she gets to cut the cake.
That's
So
so cute.
basically, they've got their 2 tiers, and then she's got her own tier on the top of the cake, which she gets to come and cut later on.
Oh, I love
But I'm
that.
hosting that wedding, and I've got to say nobody is allowed to touch the top tier until it's been cut by the daughter.
Aw.
But
Have you seen that there's little dog figures as well?
yeah,
And they take a bite out of the
Yeah.
bottom.
yeah.
That's really cute.
Or Colin the Caterpillar wedding cakes,
yeah.
and you get loads of little mini
Little
Collins.
mini ones.
It's
Yeah,
great.
they're so
or
cute.
what was the Audi version?
Cuthbert.
Cuthbert the Caterpillar.
Hashtag free Cuthbert.
Cuthbert. Free
Cuthbert.
Cuthbert. Anyway, and then all the other little bits. So cake, and then we're thinking props, photo booths, anything kind of like little things like
If
that.
it's going to be a static one, you've got to think about, is it going to fit into your venue?
Yeah.
Because quite often you'll book it and then the venue will
Yeah.
go,
Where?
oh,
Where's
you
it
can't
going?
have it there because that's
Yeah.
the fire door. And you're
Yeah,
oh.
Fire escapes. They are obviously extremely important.
They are so vital. You
like
can't.
absolutely paramount importance. However, working in the wedding industry, they're not in there. They're always where you really need to be. But anyway,
know.
yes, thanks, Finn.
I know.
But things like something great that I've seen, and we went to a wedding with this a few years ago. Crazy golf. People had crazy golf brought in and like this kind of mobile crazy golf for the drinks reception. It was
Because
brilliant.
they always used to play crazy golf
It was a
on
crazy golf
holiday.
family. Yeah. So
I loved that.
It was,
I think that's really
great.
cute.
And of course, the wretched donkey. Are you having a donkey at the wedding? In the drinks reception.
I really hope someone has a donkey at the wedding.
I want to
just
go to a wedding that has a donkey.
I can sit. I would watch it from a distance because, as I said last week,
Oh, I'm going to put it out
I
there
am
now.
allergic.
You are allergic, but if I'm hosting this wedding, I'm going to put it out there now. If I can host your wedding, and there's going to be a donkey at the drinks reception, I'm going to whack on a massive discount.
Jokes.
Just because I really want to see this in person.
Yeah, I want to see it in person. I want to see all the pictures, all the footage.
And see how you get around the animal cruelty thing.
That'll be fine.
But anyway, props, extras, photo booths, all of that kind of thing. And then the last kind of like big wedding planning bit, I think, you want to get your transport sorted to the venue,
Yes.
from the venue. We got married in a church, so we had a car to take us from the church to the venue.
Yeah.
But all the sort of transport, are you staying off-site afterwards?
Do you need to get a taxi?
Do you need to get taxis for yourself?
Yeah.
Don't wait until the end of the night.
And be
It
like,
just doesn't happen.
oh.
It just doesn't happen. So, yeah, right, we're going to keep firing through this. We're going to absolutely blast through this now. Gift list, honeymoon. They sort of come in two.
I think you decide if you're having a honeymoon, where roughly you would like to go and for how long. From there, you can then make a gift list.
Yeah, because for us, we weren't doing a big honeymoon and we were just moving into our first house. So we were like, actually, do you know what? A saucepan would be way more useful. But if you've lived together for ages and you've got everything, get some money to go on your honeymoon.
Yeah, I really like that idea.
They come together.
Memories. Yeah.
And then once you've got that gift list and you've got that idea, then you can do your invitations.
Yes.
Okay? Because obviously on that invitation needs to be your timings, the location, obviously, dress code,
Yeah.
any optional accommodation, like local accommodation, and gift list
Yeah.
needs to be put on there. Whether it's via a link, a QR code, something like that. There's lots of different gift lists that you can do. We did one called
Marriage
the
gift
marriage
list,
gift
I
list.
think.
But then there's like the wedding shop, there's Prozola. You can do separate like Amazon, John Lewis, but they are quite restrictive because you can only get things from that shop.
Other shops are available.
Other shops are. However, we did put some John Lewis stuff on our
marriage gift
list, like, and said, look, if you don't want to get us anything off there, a John Lewis gift voucher would be great. I felt like an absolute geezer.
Until you came to pay for
Well,
it.
no, I was just walking around, be like, yeah, in John Lewis and all. And I was like, I'll have that. But yeah, this is wicked. X amount of money, yeah, no problem. And then it comes up to the counter. I'm like, scrubbing. Have I got like £5 left on this one and £20 left on this one? But then again, I walk out of the shop and I'm walking around a shopping centre in Nottingham, thinking
all the
John Lewis bags, and everyone's looking at me like, yeah,
and what?
I can shop at John Lewis. I can't. I literally can't shop in John Lewis anymore.
You probably can now.
Well, I don't know. Depends how well the podcast does. Anyway. But yeah, invitations, you need to speak to your stationer if you're going to have one as well, your stationery supplier.
And you need to rough timings.
Just rough timings, like what time you're getting married.
Yeah, and
if it's an evening reception.
Not even rough timings, actually. You need to know what time you're getting married, if you're at a venue, what time they need to be at the venue, and what time your evening guests are arriving.
If you're getting married at 1...
Those are the 3 things that you need to remember.
If you're getting married at 1, your guests don't arrive at 1.
No.
Tell them what time to arrive. And tell them, don't just expect. Tell them. Anyway, we're going to get some dates in for the bridesmaids and groomsmen's fitting.
Yes,
yeah,
that's important.
To get their suits sorted. And just make a day out of it. I think
it's really nice.
You can just go for dinner afterwards.
Nice chill vibes.
Yeah, and then you need to do your ceremony order. I think that's quite important.
That's really important.
As in, discuss with your officiant, your celebrant, the vicar, whatever. Any readings, any music, the personnel that are going to be involved. If you're going to do readings, who's going to do them? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
And if you are getting married in a church, but you're not a regular church goer, just understand the process of what happens, because it is very different to a civil ceremony at a venue.
Maybe we'll get a guest vicar and a guest celebrant on.
At the same time?
No.
I was going to say, be like, ding, ding, ding!
Yeah, no.
But no, at some point, it'd be good to chat to a celebrant, and it would be really good to chat to a vicar as well.
I know a few.
Yeah.
I can hook us up.
Em's dad is a vicar, if you didn't listen to the last episode. And so's her godfather. and
I've got many Vickers. We're not going to keep
yeah, I was
going.
going to say. Anyway,
Small world in the Vickers
wedding
world.
rings. Get your wedding rings. We bought ours about halfway through, I reckon. We got married in July. I think no, it was late, more than halfway. After halfway.
We visited my sister at uni.
Yeah.
So it must have been May, April. Because if you need your rings ordering, it can be up to 12 to 16 weeks. So you've got to really think about
Yeah,
it.
good point.
Also,
And you need to get your ring measured. Obviously, I knew what yours was from getting your engagement ring.
Yeah,
But I didn't have a clue what mine was. And I've got quite chunky fingers.
you do. You've also got to think, do you want to get your rings from the same shop? Do you want to get your ring from the same place that you had your engagement ring from? Quite a few places do
They do like a
like
discount.
a discount. If you got your engagement
So
ring
lads,
here,
if you're going to propose, keep the engagement receipt. Get some money back later on.
jokes, you can get a discount on your wedding ring. You've got to think about if you're going to have the same metal. So if you don't have the same metal, it can tarnish each other.
There's lots to think about. There's lots to
Also,
think
for
about.
the ladies in the room, you need to make sure that your wedding ring fits your engagement ring, especially if they're like setting.
Or gents. Gents can have engagement rings.
They don't normally have settings, so this normally, if they have bling, it's normally in the band. It's not normally like a set.
Oh, right.
I mean, they can if you want.
I didn't know that. But anyway, and then we're going to gloss over this one very quickly. Your hair and makeup trial.
I've already really
We've already
discussed
touched on that,
this.
but we know what to do with our hair and makeup trial.
Yeah.
And then your wedding favours. Are you doing them? Is there a special reason why you're doing them or what you're putting on the table? So we had pin badges, didn't we?
Yeah. Did we have something else? I can't remember.
There was a reason behind ours, though, wasn't there?
Yeah, so we did a charity donation for Macmillan Cancer
Macmillan
Support.
cancer. Yeah.
Because I quite recently, before we got married, my uncle died
lost your
of
uncle.
esophageal cancer.
Difficult one to say.
It is really difficult to say. So we did a
Charity donation, and then you get the
donation.
pin badges and
Yeah.
things like that. And some
And it's
people
really
wore them.
important.
It was really nice to see, even in later at night, them on people's suits
Yeah.
and dresses and things like that. Some people didn't, but if there's
To be fair, I don't think many people know about that.
no,
I think maybe some people came and asked us why.
yeah,
about charity.
no, didn't we?
We didn't know.
We didn't make a note. Okay,
Because it was quite soon after.
right, yeah, so yeah, and your
It was a couple
your
of years,
auntie was
wasn't
there
it?
and
yeah,
things like that.
and
So
my cousins and things like that.
yeah, so but
Shout
If
out
you're
to
gonna-
them if you're listening.
if you're going to do your wedding favours, that's when I was going to do them, and then we're going to fly through these. Anything DIY. If you're doing your stationery DIY,
Don't leave it last minute.
don't leave it last minute. Get going on it. Your dress and your suit fittings.
Need to make sure if you. Seamstress.
Yeah,
Seamstress or tailor.
tailor for the
Is
lads.
it
Yeah,
made?
for the suits.
Perfect. Need to make sure you know roughly how long they need
Their availability, how long they need.
and
how
how
much
many
it's gonna-
fittings you're going to have.
how
I
much it's
think
gonna
I had
cost.
2 or 3
Yeah, I can't remember.
fittings. I can't remember.
And then on the legal, the boring side, do you need to give notice of marriage / get a marriage license?
Yeah.
If
Or
you-
get your bands
If
read.
you're getting married in a church, you're having your bands read,
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
That's on Church of England. Though.
Yeah, so we think.
I'm 90% sure it's
90%
only
again,
Church
we'll
of
get a vicar
England. Yeah, we will.
But yeah, make sure that you're legally allowed to get married.
Yeah.
Because that would be a turn up for the books if you're not. And then hen and stag do's. It's not your job to plan these,
No,
but make sure that
might
you're.
want to,
You
though.
might want to. Some
I
people
know
do.
quite a few people that do because they want to know exactly
Yeah.
what they want to do. and
For my stag
have it.
do, I said I had my best men, my brother and my best mate James and Jerry. I said to them, "This is the sort of vibe I'm after," and they knew me well enough that I didn't want that anyway. That was the sort of things that I wanted.
Can I
And
fill you in a secret?
oh, you knew.
Oh, I knew. Yeah, I knew.
Go on.
Yeah. I planned my own.
You planned your own hen do.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in all fairness, your sister's kind of like not the going out in the evening type, is she?
Yeah.
So, but
She
it was,
helped me plan it.
Of course, she did, and it was you
Yeah.
had the perfect hen do for you.
Yeah,
You had 2 hen dos,
I did. Had a grown-up one
a grown up one and a going
and
out
a
one.
bridesmaid one.
Yeah, but grown up bridesmaids were grown ups, but you're not. Yeah, a sophisticated one, and no, that's even worse. I'm digging myself a hole here.
It'll
A
be
family one and a bridesmaids one.
Yeah.
But then for me, like I told them the people who I wanted there. That was really important to me. These are
Yeah.
people I'd really like to be invited. But apart from that, as you like. But they knew me well enough to. But don't leave it too close to the wedding.
No.
Say to your best men, groomsmen, bridesmaids, maid of honour, whatever, I don't want to go any later than this.
Yeah.
And then you need to buy your dresses and your suits. Now, like we said, that we're not putting a time frame on this, but I wouldn't go too close or too far away from the wedding.
Yeah.
It's a fine line because you might just change body shape over the course of planning. So if you
Yeah.
buy your suit something too early, then you don't want to not fit or it fit too well or
Yeah.
too baggy. But I would then keep them safe.
Yeah.
Keep them safe after that.
Definitely.
I don't think Vinny's coming up on the sofa today. He's just
He's
standing on the
currently-
floor yawning.
Yawning at me.
Your important music choices: ceremony,
Yes.
first dance, any special songs. Make sure you've kind of started to think about those. You don't have to do a first dance. I want to do a bit of an episode on the throwing the rule book out the window. But you don't have to do a first dance. You don't have to have music in your ceremony, but it's always nice. Whether it's on a
Yeah.
playlist, whether it's live, whatever.
We'll definitely go into more detail
100%,
on that.
100%. Bridal party gifts. Are you doing them? We did, and it was really nice.
I really liked it.
And I think it's really
yeah.
important. I did some, or one that was for like forever, and one that was kind of like just for the day. It was supposed to be sunny. It was end of July, but we had some really nice shades made with their position, if you like, best man, whatever it was, groomsman, and their name on the other side.
We
but
did
yeah,
necklaces as bridesmaids. We also had a robe. We had all sorts.
yeah, but the necklaces were a really nice touch. And then tasting with a caterer. Need to do that. Not too far out from your wedding, but close enough. We didn't,
Oh,
and we definitely should
wow.
have.
We should have. That'd be the one thing
The
that
one
we
thing I'd
needed
change.
to change from our wedding.
The food. I love my food. I was so sad.
I mean, I'll give you a little insight. And we'll probably go into these sort of stories more in detail. But one of my bridesmaids came up to me and asked, "Why is there a slice of Warburtons on my plate?" And my answer was, "I don't know."
It was supposed to be that we had a roast chicken dinner. And there was supposed to be bread sauce, but I think they forgot the sauce bit.
It was just bread.
However, in all fairness to them, we had a passion fruit
Passion fruit
cheesecake for dessert, and that hit the spot. That kind of like it didn't
So
make up
good.
for it, but it was well on the way to making up
It
for
was.
it. But do a tasting. Is it included with your package? Do you have to pay extra for it? But yeah, we'll go into that story at some point. And then
Yeah,
the wedding day
absolutely.
itinerary. Timings always allow for leeway, but just get your the skeleton
Yeah.
timings down to make sure that you're really flying through the wedding day. Not flying through, but nothing's taking too long, but you've got enough time to do what you want to do.
Yeah.
And then you need to chase your RSVPs. Your venue will require it. You will have to chase
I was
people.
about to say, you will
You
have
will
to chase
have
people.
to chase people, and even then they might drop out.
Yeah.
Okay, but you will have to chase people, so just be prepared for that. And then final supplier meetings, venue. You need to give a list of photos that you want to your photographer, the set list for the band or special songs, again, which we're going to speak about, venue timings, caterer numbers, flower arrangements, final flower
Whoa.
arrangements.
That's a lot.
There's a lot to do.
Yeah.
There's a lot to do.
There is a lot.
And then, not unfortunately, but comes the big one.
Comes the dollar. You need to pay your suppliers.
They do need paying.
They do
we do
need
need paying,
paying.
unfortunately. We do a damn good job, but we do need paying for it. So make sure you leave enough budget to pay your suppliers at the end. But normally, anywhere between 21 and 60 days beforehand,
Yeah.
people suppliers will require their
I will
money.
say, just very, very briefly, you don't have to pay them the full amount on that set day.
Some do. Don't go so. Some do. But a lot of suppliers
Yeah.
will allow you.
Yeah, what I'm
So-
saying is not all the suppliers are going to be like, right, on day 21, you owe us this much, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I understand. It
But-
will be, but try and spread it out as much as you can.
If the supplier's like, yeah, that's fine, I'll have it up to 6 months before,
Mm-hmm.
and you've got the money, and you don't want to have the stress later on, you may as well do it.
And some suppliers let you even do a payment plan.
Yes, they
so,
do.
So, but do ask that, and we'll get into that.
Yeah,
But seating plan, you can't do this until you've got your finalised numbers and you've had your meeting with the venue.
we'll talk more about seating plan.
But we will talk more about that. We've got some
Wedding
tips and all the wedding politics that come with that. And you need to have the big discussion currently. the long table versus round table discussion.
Ooh, juicy.
I'm just going to put this out here and move on. I think long tables work better. Just putting it out there. Anyway, moving on.
Really?
Yeah, moving on. We're going to come back to that. Speech writing. You need to do your speech writing. Whoever's doing a speech.
Yes.
Is it the father of the bride? Is it somebody else representing that person? Is the bride doing a speech? The groom will probably do a speech.
Probably.
Or one of the couple will do a speech, whoever that might be. And then normally best man or maid of honour or something like that will also do a speech. But you don't have to do speeches at all. But if you're going to do speeches, don't leave them till the last minute to write them. Very different ways of writing
I have a feeling
mine.
someone in our family might have left it until the night before. But we move on.
It weren't me. So your dad?
I
Really?
think so.
Well, he's very good at public speaking. So
He is.
yeah, he did a sterling speech. Excuse me.
Starling Bank.
I was so blown away by your dad's speech that I didn't know how to talk.
Wow.
But I think
Wow.
all the speeches on our wedding day were good in their own way. There was your dad's, obviously there was mine, and then there was James and Joey's, which was
Long.
long alcohol fueled in the writing and the delivery. And
I sometimes watch it back again
yeah,
when
but it
I'm
was
bored
great.
because
But
it's
we're
brilliant.
again, we're going to get into speeches at some point.
That's so funny.
So, and then you need to do your jobs. Who's doing what?
Oh, we need to have a full discussion about that.
Who's doing what? Groomsmen, bridesmaids, make sure you're clear and make sure those people know what their roles
Yeah.
are on the wedding day. And then you need to put together your wedding day survival kit.
Yes.
Very quickly, give me 3 things that you'd put in a bride's wedding day survival kit.
Stain remover wipes. If you're listening and you know who it is, you know who it is.
What? No. Stamen, what?
One of my bridesmaids might have sat on the flowers in the church and it made a massive stain on the back of the dress.
Okay, that's nowhere near as bad as I thought. Right. I thought we were going to really uncover something from our wedding. But
But
okay.
we made it work with stain remover
Okay,
wipes and
stain
it all
remover
came
wipes.
out.
stain remover wipes.
Boob tape or
Boob tape.
dress make tape.
Yeah.
Wardrobe malfunctions may happen.
Mm-hmm.
And paracetamol
Paracetamol. Okay.
because
Cool.
I had a headache.
There's going to be more than that, but that's
Oh
three
yeah,
good
that's
things.
3 of my top things.
Lads, I'm going to say you're going to want deodorant / some
perfume.
aftershave. Yeah.
Yeah.
Make sure you know how far away that is. Yeah, I know. I put it on silent and it's still going off.
It's that one.
I don't know. Anyway, deodorant / aftershave. I would say it's not in a survival, but a spare shirt. If you're having gravy, if you're having anything like
If
or
you're having
sweaty,
gravy.
just a spare shirt. And third, I would say
Blister.
blisters. Yeah, I got blisters on my wedding day because again,
Blister
another tip: I didn't wear my shoes in.
Blister
But
plasters.
a blister plaster.
Plaster.
And then
plaster.
finally,
We're here!
you're there. Relax. Don't leave anything until the night before. Enjoy
that'd
that.
be my big tip.
If you're getting married in a church, you're probably going to have your wedding rehearsal.
Yeah.
But if not, just even regardless, we still then had a chilled night after, didn't we? And then, well, we did. The boys did. We went to the hotel and had a beer. You were like doing all sorts of stuff.
We were moving stuff from the house to the venue.
Yeah, but then after that,
It was bedtime because it was 10 o'clock.
oh yeah. It was bedtime. But we stayed up and had a drink. In all fairness, there was a lot of people in the hotel that.
My bridesmaids were up and down my hall practicing
Were they practicing the walking? Oh my goodness.
And one of them couldn't walk in their shoes, so we had a bit of a meltdown, but we've sorted it.
But-
It was fine.
Do something funny like that. Do
Yeah.
something chill out, have a beer in the hotel or something like that.
Yeah.
But just relax. You can't change anything at that point. Just relax and enjoy it. And don't get drunk the night before.
I mean, if you want to, you can. but I
No,
wouldn't recommend
just
it.
don't. It's just not good the next day. It's really not.
What if they like getting drunk and that's how
Okay,
they do
as
it?
long as you can then fully function the next day,
Yeah.
then fine. But try and drink a bit of water as well the night
Keep
before.
hydrated.
Keep hydrated. Wow, that was a lot. It was quite a carnage podcast. But
Welcome to our lives.
we're not gonna do a 30-second roundup today.
I don't
Because
think we
this
can.
was one, we can't, and two, this was mostly a roundup anyway.
Yes.
It's like an overview. But just as a general thing, don't leave things until the last minute. And hopefully this shows, and the main thing that we wanted to show from this is hopefully it shows that there's no right or wrong way to plan a wedding. That's the whole point of the podcast. But there's no right or wrong way or timings, no right or wrong timings in when to do things. You might find that you get unstuck a little bit if you do things too late. But there's going to be this wedding dip. You do your big bits at the beginning, and then you're going to not be able to do something for a few months. And then a few months before, it's going to go nuts. And it just does. Don't feel like, oh, I should be doing something and I'm not. You're like every other wedding couple in the world. Okay?
Yeah.
Unless you've got a planner that's doing everything and then you've done nothing all the way through. Then great.
What a vibe.
But also, you're supposed to enjoy it if you're going to do it yourself. Okay? So next week, we're going to start chatting more about some of the bits we've spoken about. And we're going for the big four, which are...
Media, sorry. I just had a
Let's start
brain
from the top.
moment.
Most important one,
Venue, entertainment, catering, media.
Big four. We're going to start ticking those off and chatting about those in a bit more detail. But a slightly longer episode of the I Do Not Have a Clue podcast.
Yeah,
But
sorry.
it was quite a big one, but hopefully it gives you
a very important one, though.
Yeah, hopefully it gives you quite a big overview of where you should be at with your wedding planning. But thank you so much for listening to the I Do Not Have a Clue podcast.
Any questions?
Let us know. Instagram, TikTok, Facebook.
We're not live as of yet.
Well, we will be.
It is live
YouTube,
technically, but
YouTube,
yeah.
let us know in the comments. If you've got any questions about any of this, we will do our best to answer them. Thanks so much for listening. Have a great week, guys.
See you!
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the I Do Not Have a Clue podcast.
If you're watching us on YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
If you're listening to us on Spotify, don't forget to follow us so you don't miss the next episode of the I Do Not Have a Clue podcast. Oh, and while you're there, do us a solid and rate us 5 stars.